Guyana Fire Service, as one of the main emergency service in Guyana, is on the rise, is on the move to ensure that the mission statement is being provided and maintained through protection of life and property from destruction by fire, attending to other disasters related emergencies, and rendering humanitarian services with collaboration of relevant agencies. This partnership between the Ministry of Public Security and the Ministry of Health is a magnificent one. It goes to show that regardless of the differences we might have, when we come together to achieve an objective, it's been successful. Since the launch of this service, the EMT, the Emergency Medical Services, back to the fire service, which was once there in the 1980s, we have magnificent success, or successes, so to speak. The calls where you might hear from the other speakers in relation to the amount of calls since we've launched is magnificent because the public see us as very important persons, a very important partner or an organization that is very important to ensure that we provide a service or services which is necessary for the people of this country.
Over the next few years, we started mechanism where we would have done training to lay force responders and also members of the police force, but ultimately, like international standards, we needed an EMS system. In 2014, we started a pilot emergency medical services after getting approval from the Ministry of Public Health in collaboration with Georgetown Public Hospital. And being the head of the Accident Emergency Department, it came under my purview. We would have collaborated with the Vanderbilt Medical Center, who are very, very important partners in this development and would have given us quite a lot of the know-how and ensure that we stay within international standards when it comes to emergency medical services. And from 2014 to 2015, we would have done that pilot emergency medical services with 2 ambulances and 20 EMTs and troubleshoot quite a lot of mechanisms. But of course, I was not satisfied because the whole idea of having this was to have a national emergency medical services. And we had to get this marriage done. Fire chief and myself had to figure out this. So I went one day and spoke with fire chief and asked home for him. Told him we can do this marriage with public health. And he said he got asked his father, Minister Ramjattan. We got permission finally, and we took this for the blessings of Cabinet. Cabinet gave approval for the creation of a national emergency medical services where Ministry of Public Health will unite in marriage with Ministry of Public Security, specifically the Guyana Fire Services and the EMS Office of the Ministry of Public Health. And in March 2016, this approval was given. Had some really happy days after that. It was a dream come true. Not to marry fire chief, but to actually have a national emergency medical services. We're happy where we're at right now. In November 24th, 2016, we had a formal launch of the National Emergency Medical Services. And we've moved in tandem. We've started with 3 ambulances that initially covered from Monterey Post to the Diamond area. And during this period from the 24th of November to present, we would have had 1,076 emergency calls that we would have had to respond to. And if you look at it, just having 3 ambulances on an average, it would have been 8 to 10 calls per day. And these are all emergencies. Proud to say, very proud to say that EMTs would have delivered a baby on scene because the mother called for that she was in labor, and we could not have obviously brought the mother to the hospital because she was in end stage of labor. The same EMTs that were trained last year in collaboration with the chief EMT, delivered that baby on scene. We saved the life, we helped to decrease maternal mortality and child mortality by just doing that little case. But that didn't stop there. I must re-emphasize that since the launch of this pilot EMS up to now, we would have saved the lives of 4 babies and 3 mothers. These are all cases that would either have been delivered on scene or in the ambulance coming to the hospital. And that shows the importance of the EMS. to the people of Guyana. And there are countless patients that would have that were getting heart attack, that were in motor vehicle accidents, whose lives would have been saved because of this new venture. So I must say kudos to the EMS staff for the work they've been doing, and I'm very, very happy with the way we've been progressing. Of course, the training and development of the EMS basically comes under, it's a unique system and it works very well. Comes under the EMS Office of the Ministry of Public Health. So all protocols, policies, certification, training, and ensuring medical direction for the emergency medical technician comes from the Emergency Medical Services Office. And whilst I'm the medical director for that office, most of the hard work would have been done by my small team, very small team. I'm hoping that we can expand the team over time. But a small team of 2 individuals with support from another individual from overseas. So Ron Morris is the Chief Emergency Medical Technician, and Mr. Ramjattan is the Quality Improvement Officer. Those 2 persons work in tandem with me to ensure that we deliver the medical mandate of the EMS, and they would have done all the training and most of the work to get where we're at today, including training this batch of EMTs. And of course, we have Mr. Mark O'Brien. Mark is from the Volunteer Services Organization, Peace Corps, to be more specific. And he would have spent 2 years in Guyana working with the Peace Corps. And then when he's an EMT cardiac from the US. When he heard what we were trying to do, he joined forces with us and would have volunteered services for the past year. And of course, would be leaving soon, but I had to highlight the important work he would have done with us in terms of working and mentoring the EMTs and doing a lot of the training behind the scenes with the EMTs. So Mark, we wish you well. We know you're going to be to the US to pursue your career in medicine, and definitely I'm sure you'll pursue it in emergency medicine and become an emergency physician. And we do look forward to you coming back and lending support to the Guyana Emergency Medical Services. We're expanding and we're moving forward, and for this EMS to work properly has to do with a lot of behind the scenes coordination. And it's a unique venture where we had to collaborate with, there were basically 2 ministries collaborating to ensure that we had smooth running. I could not have asked for a better colleague from the Ministry of Public Security to work with. Mr. Marlon Gentle, as I wouldn't want to say as age, but as experienced as he may be, is one of the persons that I would have probably had more pleasure to work with in the public system in Guyana. Not just because of his attitude towards development and getting things done, but of course his professionalism and experience in dealing with matters that, of course, me being young in the system, would probably have more challenge dealing with. So I would have learned quite a lot from his approach to management and developing the EMS, and I must say thank you to him for the work he would have done. But I think the most important thing is that he values the work that we do, and we do have a relationship where we agree to disagree quite a lot, but we do both have the same ideologies of ensuring the movement of Guyana EMS. And there are times when we don't agree, but we figure out the best mechanism moving forward, because I think having him with that amount of experience and still having that modernized thinking helps to make such an important symbiotic relationship from both sides. So I must firstly thank Mr. Gentle for his professionalism and, of course, the modern way of thinking and adapting to the approaches that we would have brought from the medical side of EMS. And I do look forward to us working together in the future and making this thing fully national emergency medical services, where we'll be able to cover land, air, and water. So any patient in the entire of Guyana would be able to access emergency medical services at their home or on the scene of where they're injured or ill.
The merging of the emergency medical services, more importantly from the Public Health Ministry, along with the expertise of emergency response from the Guyana Fire Service, I think has now shown that it's worked and that is something worthy of continuity. In that, for a number of years, there are a lot of thought processes and even experiments to bring emergency medical services and emergency medical care to a level that is acceptable and that is beneficiary to the members of or the general public of Guyana. Agencies by themselves would have tried. And based on what we know now from the analysis done, synergies of two agencies may be the best methodology that we could use to have international best practices and to run out a service or to put out a service that is worthy of emulation by our brothers and sisters in the Caribbean. To the graduating participants today, I want to say to you that as you come under the auspices or come under the administration of the Guyana Fire Service, that you come with that newness that is necessary for the furtherance of the development of Guyana. I want you to see yourselves as the pioneers of a process that at the end of this process, the people of Guyana will benefit and will benefit solely from your output. Having said that, I must also urge that commitment, professionalism, and service be the watchword as you go out to perform your next state of duties. Be reminded also that when you leave here, you still have some further training for you to understand the workings of an emergency service before you are fully incorporating into the fold. You have at your disposal expertise of, I would say, some of the best in the medical fraternity in Guyana, and even, I dare say, for the field. My association with Dr. Box, with Mr. Ron Morris, and even some of the other physicians at the Georgetown Hospital over this short period of time has been that I am confident and I am convinced that we have within us some of the best practitioners in Guyana who could deliver service worthy of international comment. And I say that based on two things. 4 weeks ago, I had a visit from some international assessors from Anglo-Co Limited of the UK. Some of the persons who do training for us and who we procure some of our emergency equipment. And when they looked at what was going on in the medical field in Guyana, how we stocked our ambulances, how we had the emergency communication center running, they said that they could not understand that, you know, we are here at this part of the world and are working along that force world type of practice to ensure that our people benefit. So you have one thing only to do, is to take what is there already and move it to the next level. For you are also very young people. You have a career ahead of you. You have a future ahead of you. And within that development of your career and future, Guyana also must be developed. And the people of Guyana must also feel that they are being served in the best interest. So as I close today, I welcome you into the fold of the Guyana Fire Service. We have a lot of work to do. I will be, of course, as Chief Fire Officer, will be looking at you from time to time at your performances. So I also have a very open doors policy, and the fire service is a family in the fraternity. And that fraternity looks also to each of its membership for that level of commitment, the drive, the zeal, the zest, and also sometimes we could benefit from your suggestions because you are the persons out in the fields and you have more interactions than us to the members of the public. And whatever has to be done to better the service, we expect that you will bring forward those suggestions. Let me close by also saying I'm eternally grateful and thankful for this level of marriage. I think this may have been one of the best marriages Guyana's ever had. In that the Guyana Fire Service also has benefited in the level of service that the medical services has brought to us in terms of how we expand our services. We also would like to thank the Ministry of Health for the support that we're getting. And the support not to see this thing go through, but to see what we have here as a product remains a product, and a product worthy of the Guyanese people's reception.
We in Guyana must start preparing our people for the jobs that are going to be there, for the caring and services that will have to be provided to the people of Guyana, by the people of Guyana. And oh yes, I heard just now that we might only have at this stage 4 ambulances for the entire Georgetown. That holds about more than 1/3 of the population, Region 4 that is. But there will come a time in Guyana when we can afford lots more than that. But we will need the people to man the system. And the people must be those who are now being trained into graduates. And those of you who are going to graduate here, who are going to further train yourselves or demand that you be better trained to up the level right up to the status of people who can be medical professionals. It is that desire that I urge of you as graduates. Notwithstanding the training that you have had at this stage, it is fundamental for the needs of a society that is going to demand greater, make greater demands later on, that you start the preparatory work here at this level, 2017, so that you can ride the crest and the waves of the future, so that you can meet the demands of our Guyanese people. I tell the story last time of when I was asked by the United States of America Information Services to do a program several years ago. I think it was myself and Nigel Hughes and a couple of others that were asked, a trade unionist, a journalist, a politician, and so on. And we went. And as part of the training, we went to see the federal system, a state system, a local authority system of governance, and even we attended the Supreme Court, the very highest court of America. And we went in and so on, got training. But one of the best exercises that they had was to send us off to a family. I think it was in Minnesota. And that one family, made up of a man, his wife, and 2 children, and they were almost adult children, what they managed because of their skill set. They had about 5,000 acres of land. The fellow could fly a plane. He could work the computer to know when the crops have to be planted, and the weather system, and when the typhoon times will come, and everything. And his wife was good with a spanner, by the way, going underneath of a tractor and a big combine harvester, and they had about 8 or 9 of them. They mastered the art of multitasking and multi-skill. And that is why it is a wonder why America is so great. It's because its people, one person, can probably do the job of 100 persons in the third world. That's how skilled they are, to the extent then that they can produce. And what Guyana needs to reach that level is not necessarily when you're going to get this stream of money coming in with, let's say, an oil sector or a better gold sector, but people who can do the job of not necessarily what they're doing today, but can do 10 times better, and are so skilled that they can rate themselves with the advanced countries of the world. And that is what is necessary, and why this administration is paying attention to ensuring that you be trained. This training exercise will go on in a very big way for the next 2-3 years, and further down the road, where it will be even more emphasized, and greater finances, greater efforts, greater lecturers, and that will come from international programs that we are now trying to work out and so on. That is what it takes. A lot of us sometimes come to the conclusion that, look, we are going to do well soon and we just have to learn to distribute the wealth. No, 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 no. We got to learn through our skills and training how to generate more wealth. Generation of wealth is very, very important. And how we generate that will come through training, come through a capacity of you now that you have graduated. And congratulations to you. Now that you have graduated, the self-initiatives that you will take on to proceed to learn more. Reading the magazines, the relevant magazines in medicine. If you don't have it, ask the minister, ask the public health officials to provide same. Go on the net, because I notice a lot of young people all the time they talk on the net. You're talking to some of them in an interview, they're on the net. We want them, of course, to go there to see all those more educational programs that you can capture and read and read and read. That's what will make the modern society. Don't ever feel that those great advanced countries didn't do it that way. That is why they are famous for their universities, their colleges, and their schools. We have to do similar here. And Guyanese, by the way, I must tell you, have been doing that. I met a number of Guyanese in London in my recent tour there. All of them are so doing well. The program that we were on, Commonwealth Parliamentary Association, the president is Guyanese, Akbar Khan, the son of a famous judge. They used to call him the Angry God, Akbar Khan, when he was a judge here in Guyana. And then you saw so many doctors and lawyers, very famous one, Guyanese girl, Gina Miller. That's the girl that brought the action against the British government in relation to that thing called the Brexit, that not only the referendum says that you can Brexit out of the European Union, but you have to get parliamentary support too. Jean Miller, a lawyer. By the way, Mr. Dudnot Singh's daughter, the late, great Dudnot Singh, who was a former Attorney General. I didn't even realize that. And so we are all over the place knowing the need to get better educated, better trained. And so we must not feel that it ends here. I remember as a young lawyer, you know, I come back, I graduate with honors and so on, and you feel your big thing. And I joined the Director of Public Prosecutions Chambers. I was a police prosecutor. And then, you know, you do good at law school, you feel you're really big. You ain't big. First case the DPP sent me was against Mr. Rex McKay and Dudnot Singh. And you got a good cut tail. And you run back screaming. But I thought this was, you know, oh, you're green. And you must learn to appreciate that too. A quality sometimes of arrogance comes in. No, don't ever feel that you know all. You've got to get a telephone, call Dr. Box, call your seniors. After a while you realize how much more there is to learn in this world. And I want you to appreciate that. And never ever feel that you are so with an attribute that you know everything, know all, as we call it in Guyana, that you must not pick up that phone and call a senior. That you must not pick up a phone and call or network to somebody who you know knows more than you. Don't be that arrogant. It will get us nowhere. And always, as I said, read and read and read. It will help. And what that does is to create the climate for even those that are around us to see, but this chap here, I don't know some of your names, but whatever your names, John Murray, by the banner, reading plenty, and he's doing well in his job. And it creates a culture of those young, let's say our kids, our brothers and sisters, our siblings that are younger, wanting to do similar things, rather than be idle and want to go lime and talk stupidness and then get involved. That's the culture we want of Guyana. Oh yes, there's a time we are a Caribbean society. We know how to carnival and we know how to masramani. But we got to understand that what is required of us is to get our skills set to higher, advanced levels so that we can take care of a country that is so blessed, a country that will require so much more in tourism, in forestry, in mining, in financing. But all those people that are going to be involved in those will need to be taken care of, assuming there is an accident on the road. And that's where you come in. If they are to live lifestyles that will see them getting too much fat in their diet, that they get heart problems early, you are there to help. Or whatever is the trauma. So in this entire network of the country advancing, your services will be required. And I'm so happy that the Ministry of Health, the Ministry of Public Security through its fire department, have merged this effort to create a quality, better individual in the fire service and in the health service, what we call EMS. And the technicians that flow from this service, EMTs. I want you then to prepare yourselves for that kind of Guyana that will come. And it is not far off. It is not far off at all. And you should be the pioneers now in your area to ensure that that happens. You take it around the country, people will see you. And we need, because look, in this job that you are entering, you need to be brave. There will be trauma in some fire or something, you'll have to be there. Like the firefighters of New York in 9/11. Lots of them, that's the bad side of it. But you have to be brave to be there and not run away, like the firefighters. You have to be there in moments to make great decisions as to what to do to save a life. And that requires a capacity that could make a better judgment call. That requires education. That requires experience. And so, although one might feel that it's just a 6 weeks training and all of that, you can save a life and help a person out there. And that is a wonderful thing.